Breaking chaos has erupted in the heart of the United Kingdom tonight. Streets once echoing with the hum of routine life now roar with anger, chants, and flames. Buckingham, at the city once symbolic of British pride, is burning. Police sirens slice through the smoke-filled air as thousands of protesters clash with riot officers outside the palace walls. The question shaking every corner of the kingdom: has King Charles finally decided to fire Prime Minister Keir Starmer? Without a vote? Just 1 hour ago, Prince William's words leaked from a private royal briefing. It's over. His government is finished. Those 6 words hit the media like a nuclear blast. Within minutes, hashtags like "Nom End of Starmer" and "Crown Takes Control" flooded every screen across Britain. By the time evening fell, the capital looked less like London and more like a war zone. Eyewitnesses report police barricades crumbling under sheer crowd pressure. Officers, overwhelmed and outnumbered, fired tear gas into the angry mob. More than 700 protesters have been arrested, yet the uprising refuses to die down. Flames climb. The sides of historic buildings, the night sky painted orange by rebellion. The chants are chilling: "No more tyranny," and "King, save Britain." Inside Buckingham Palace, tension coils tighter than it has in decades. Sources close to the royal office whisper of a constitutional intervention, an unprecedented move by King Charles himself. For the first time in modern British history, the monarch may invoke an ancient royal prerogative to remove a sitting prime minister without parliamentary approval. Such an act would shatter every democratic norm the UK has stood upon since the 1600s. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Keir Starmer remains secluded inside Downing Street. Reports suggest the security perimeter has doubled. Armed officers have been placed on rooftops. Cabinet members have gone silent. One insider, speaking under condition of anonymity, told reporters he still believes he's in control, but the ground beneath him is collapsing. What ignited this political inferno? Analysts trace it back to weeks of economic collapse, allegations of corruption, and leaked documents showing secret defense deals approved without parliamentary consent. Public confidence in Starmer's leadership was already on life support. But the trigger came last night when footage surfaced showing government aides celebrating at a private event, drinking champagne while inflation figures hit a 20-year high. That image broke something inside the nation. The royal family, long silent on political matters, has now become the eye of the storm. Prince William, known for his calm diplomacy, reportedly confronted the Prime Minister at a closed meeting earlier this week, accusing him of betraying the trust of the people. Starmer, defiant, allegedly replied, "The Crown doesn't rule anymore." Those words, spoken within earshot of royal staff, might have sealed his fate. By dawn, the monarchy's patience had thinned to a single thread. King Charles convened an emergency council with senior advisors and military representatives. A secret message was dispatched to the Home Office, its contents still unknown, but multiple outlets now claim it carried one explosive directive: prepare for the dismissal of the Prime Minister. Across the nation, uncertainty has turned to fear. Banks are on alert. Stock markets are plunging. Transport lines in and out of London have been restricted under temporary emergency measures. Newsrooms are running on fumes, struggling to confirm the rumors racing through encrypted channels that the king has already drafted a royal decree to dissolve the current government. BBC correspondents stationed near the palace describe an atmosphere of controlled panic. Helicopters circle overhead, and armored police vehicles block the main approach roads. A senior police commander, his voice trembling during a brief press statement, said only one line before walking away: "We have lost control of Buckingham." As midnight approaches, explosions echo from the city's east side, believed to be petrol bombs thrown by protesters. Firefighters can't reach the scene. Roads are barricaded. In the middle of it all, an unconfirmed report claims that the palace lights have gone dark, a signal, some believe, that the king is preparing for a televised address. No one knows what he will say, but if Charles announces what insiders suspect, the immediate firing of Keir Starmer, Britain could wake up tomorrow in constitutional chaos. It would mark the first time in centuries that a monarch directly overruled the elected government. Still, among the chaos, one thing feels undeniable: the people have turned. The same streets that once cheered Starmer's rise now chant for his fall. The same crown that once watched quietly from above now seems ready to act. The final question hangs in the smoke-choked air of Buckingham: will King Charles dare to pull the trigger? Before the sun rises? The streets of Buckingham are still burning. Smoke curls above the palace walls like a dark omen, and the air smells of ash, fear, and revolution. Inside the marble halls of Buckingham Palace, the clock strikes 1 past midnight. But no one dares to sleep. Every corridor is alive with whispers, hurried footsteps, and the echo of phones ringing in panic. A confidential meeting has just begun, the most secret council in modern British history. Behind a heavy oak door in the palace's west chamber, King Charles, dressed in a dark navy suit, sits at the head of a long table. Around him are 7 faces, advisors, military officials, and 1 silent observer from MI5. The king's expression is unreadable, his hands clasped tightly before him. Outside, faint explosions shake the chandeliers. "Gentlemen," he begins slowly, his voice carrying the weight of centuries, "Britain stands at a breaking point. The Prime Minister has lost the people, and perhaps the nation itself. The question before us, do we act now, or do we let history judge us for doing nothing?" A tense silence follows. General Harland, Chief of the Defense Staff, finally speaks, his tone sharp. "Your Majesty, law and order have collapsed in the capital. The Metropolitan Police can no longer maintain control. If the riots reach Westminster, the government may invoke martial law, and that would put Starmer above you, not under you." The king's eyes narrow. "Then it's already too late." Across the table, Royal Secretary Eleanor Tisdale opens a black folder. Inside, a single page with the royal insignia embossed in gold. The heading reads, Royal Directive 44B, Motion of Dismissal. The document, if signed, would end Keir Starmer's government instantly. No vote, no debate, just the king's word, as once done by his ancestors in the Age of Empire. But the question burning through the room is the same one echoing across. The kingdom. Can a king still wield such power? Eleanor clears her throat. "Legally, Your Majesty, you can. But politically, it would ignite a constitutional crisis unlike any we've ever seen. The crown would be accused of staging a silent coup." The king looks toward the MI5 observer, a thin man with cold eyes, known only as Director Graham. "And if we don't act," Graham doesn't blink, "then Starmer consolidates power by morning. His party will declare emergency governance, suspend parliament, and possibly place the royal household under investigation for interference." The king exhales, leaning back, the shadows dancing on his face. "So, either I destroy him, or he destroys the monarchy." Meanwhile, outside the palace gates, the situation has spiraled beyond control. Protesters, enraged by new footage of police beating civilians, are now storming toward the inner barricades. The chants are deafening. "Charles, save the crown!" and "Down with the traitor!" Flames from burning vehicles cast a red glow on the royal walls. The riot police, exhausted and outnumbered, are retreating. News networks broadcast the mayhem live. BBC anchors speak in trembling voices, their scripts abandoned. One reporter screams as an explosion erupts behind her, the screen shaking violently before cutting to static. Britain, for the first time in living memory, feels leaderless. Inside, Downing Street, Keir Starmer watches the chaos unfold on multiple monitors. His face is pale, his suit jacket unbuttoned, a glass of whiskey untouched beside him. He mutters to his chief aide, "They won't dare. They can't. The monarchy is symbolic. It's finished." But even as he says it, doubt flickers in his eyes. Suddenly, a security officer bursts into the room. "Sir, MI5 communication just intercepted. The palace has gone dark. Power's been cut deliberately." Starmer freezes. "Deliberately?" "Yes, sir. It's a lockdown protocol. They're preparing a broadcast." The Prime Minister stands slowly, his breath shallow. "A broadcast from the palace?" The officer nods. Back inside Buckingham, the King's Council has reached a terrifying consensus. The document lies on the table, awaiting one final stroke of royal ink. The palace chapel bells toll faintly in the background. 3 times. The king looks down at the page. "Once I sign this," he murmurs, "there's no turning back." Eleanor, his secretary, whispers softly, "Then perhaps, Your Majesty, that's exactly what Britain needs. No turning back." Outside, a thunderous explosion rocks the palace grounds. Windows shatter. The lights flicker again. Guards rush into the room shouting, "Your Majesty! Protesters have breached the second perimeter!" The king doesn't move. His hand hovers over the document. Then, with a calmness that feels almost otherworldly, he picks up the fountain pen. The room falls dead silent. Every heartbeat echoes like a drum. And then, the signature. King Charles signs his name. For a moment, no one breathes. "God save the king," whispers.